All right, guys, let's talk about type. About 57 times a day, I get a message from you guys saying, hey, can you help me figure out my type? I am the wrong person to ask that question to. I look at actors that I know and love, actors that I coach, and then I look at their resumes. They've played so many differing roles throughout their careers. They don't really have a type. Pretty exciting example, but look at Meryl Streep. Tell me what her type is. Type is one of those things that's used with newer actors. There's so many seminars out there. Get to know your type. You have to know your type. If you want to break into the industry, you better know your type. And the types listed are waitress, doctor, girl next door, worker, construction worker, all those kinds of really narrow options. And they go on to say, now that you know your type, you need a headshot to match that type. You pull back and you look at what you're doing, you're actually narrowing your options more and more. By the time you finish that seminar, you've decided your type is girl next door, nurse, waitress, and then you have 3 headshots to match where you look like a waitress, a girl next door, and a nurse. Look at it from my point of view. I'm a casting director. You're submitting, or your agent is submitting on the roles that I'm casting. And I get these really specific headshots where you look like a nurse and a girl next door. But that's not what I'm casting. So all of a sudden you've typed yourself out of the roles that I'm casting. Casting is paid to be creative, guys. That is our job. We are paid to think outside of the box. So let's keep using this waitress role as an example. Casting is casting a co-star right now. It's 3 lines and she's a waitress. Casting is not going to wait to look for the headshot that looks like the waitress. I used to say that when I was casting co-stars, I assumed everyone could walk and talk simultaneously. And I always felt like it was the best opportunity to give someone their first job. So I would go through headshots, I would pick headshots that I liked, and I would bring people in, period, end of discussion. I wasn't waiting for you to show up in a waitress uniform. If I was, I wouldn't have been a very good casting director. This is why I say that casting doesn't worry that much about type, they worry about the acting. Hair, makeup, and wardrobe can take care of the rest. This may have been true a long time ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, when it was, ingenue, best friend, the pretty leading girl, sure, but everything has changed. So stop spending your money taking these type seminars, worrying about type. Spend your money becoming the best actor you can be. I know we all have a lot of trauma coming out of these acting schools, these big LA acting schools that beat it into your head that type is the thing, type is what you need to know. You certainly can't be an actor because you have 10 extra pounds on you and you're never gonna act ever. And I have a video coming up on that too, because believe me, that was my experience too. And I know you're carrying that trauma with you, and it's hard to hear me and hear what I'm saying and believe me, but try. And if you don't agree with me, that's totally okay. This is a conversation. But here's my advice. Work on your acting, get it so good that no one can ignore you. Then get representation that can fight this fight for you so you're not swirling in your head worrying about type. Then spend money on kick-ass headshots, not gimmicky headshots, kick-ass headshots. Ones that are so good and so dynamic that casting will see them and they can't ignore them. So with headshots that are too gimmicky or too specific, they will occasionally work, but they won't work often. So what you want is an incredibly dynamic picture of you. Spend money there. Get the best headshot you can get, because that will work more often than not. I know in the beginning you're getting so much advice from so many people and you're hearing so many different things. Trust your gut. Your gut will guide you. Take the advice you like, leave the rest behind, and trust yourself. This is helping.